What's up guys, the Scooter Cuber here, and as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be doing a review on the GAN 356X. Now, I know I didn't do an unboxing for this puzzle, and I'm sorry, I would have, but I was really excited to get into it. I was also in a car, and my phone was at like 5%. So, sorry about there not being an unboxing, but here's the review. So first things first, what the cube comes with, it comes in this sleeve. Well, at least mine did. If y'all order one, it might not come in this sleeve exactly. I believe this is their Christmas theme sleeve for the box. You might still be able to get one with this sleeve if you like this sleeve. I personally really like the design on it, and for that reason I'm going to be keeping it. I just like how it looks. And then it also comes with this box, which contains the cube and all your other accessories, so let's go ahead and get into it. There is also a blue velvet bag that's included if you order one of these. I just don't have mine with me right now. But other than the blue velvet bag, you get this GAN credit card thing. It has the name of the cube, a picture of the cube, and the magnet capsules on the outside. It also has an a QR code to get to their Instagram, the GAN logo, I guess their slogan, and a QR code to go to some other social media platform it looks like, but I'm not sure what that is. And the next thing is this. This little box right here contains your GES nuts, 2 pamphlets explaining how to solve a cube, and the other one is for the accessories, and also the magnet system, which is pretty cool, and I'll be going through that before I get to the cube. But the last thing you get in the box is this cube box and the cube itself. Now, this cube does come in plastic wrap. The only reason mine's not in plastic wrap for this video is because, like I said, I've been using it as my main for like 2 or 3 weeks, so that's why mine isn't in the plastic wrap anymore. So first things first, let's go through this white box of accessories. Like I said, it has the GES nuts, the magnet capsules, and 2 pamphlets. This smaller pamphlet basically just explains the magnet system and the GES nuts, or the GES nuts on one side and the magnet system on the other. And as you can see here, the clear capsules with the magnets are the strongest. The yellow capsules are the medium ones, the green capsules are the weak, and the clear with no magnets are null in case you want to make your cube non-magnetic, which I don't know why you would, because this cube is actually pretty fast. And as you can see here, the new GES nuts, it has a hole, or like it looks like a keyhole, because the core is actually a rectangle, and you slide the GES nut down on top of it, and then you turn it to fit your preference, like what tension you want. So yeah, and I will be going into that a little bit deeper, like explaining how it works and how to obviously use the system. And then this pamphlet here is just a tutorial on how to solve the cube either layer by layer on one side and CFOP on the other. And now, pretty much the most expensive part, or the biggest feature of this puzzle, is both of these right here. On my left, as you can see, I have the magnet capsules, and on the right I have my GES nuts. I'll go over these first just because it's a little bit easier to explain than the magnet capsules, and it'll just be easier for me to say what I want to about these first. And let's go ahead and take one out just so I can show you what it looks like. So if my camera will focus. Okay. So as you can see on the GES nut, it has a little cross-like hole on the top of it, and there's a little circle like ring through it in the middle. That is what the core goes through, like not the actual core, but the metal rod that pops up out of the core. It goes through this, and as you can see, like I said, it's a little cross. That's because this is the numerical IPG GAN 356X, which is the more expensive option for the GAN X, but I believe it's worth it to spend the extra $5 or $6, I think it is, to get the numerical IPG version of the cube rather than the normal GES V3 or 4 nut version of the cube. And here's why. You can change the tensions and also replace the GS nuts in about a minute on the entire cube, as opposed to spending about a minute each unscrewing the GS nuts and then screwing them back onto the puzzle and then having to repeat the process until you find the GS nut that works for you. But with this, all you have to do is pop it on and push down on it once it's in the centerpiece and twist it. And I will show you an example of how to do this later on in the video. But this right here, this design makes it a lot easier to change the tension of your cube. Let me get this back in, and then I'll go over the magnet system. Actually, I'll just leave that out. No, I'll have to take the cube out for the magnet system tutorial though. So, like I said, these are the magnet capsules, and I really like the packaging on both of these. Like, I like the containers because instead of having to just pop it off, you push down on it and twist it. There's a little locking mechanism, as you can see right there. This is the actual lock part of it, and then this is the little track for it. There's it clicks into place and then pops off like this. And this ring also comes out so you can see, or so you can easily get the magnet capsules off. Let me focus my camera. So with these, as you can see, there's the null set, weak set, and medium set. And I'll go ahead and take the cube out of the box now. And the strong set is already pre-installed in the cube. Now, if you don't know what these are, what this allows you to do is change the strength of the magnets in your puzzle. So if you feel like the magnets in the puzzle are a little too strong, you can go to the yellow, and if you still think those are too strong, you can go to the green. Now, I do not recommend you use the clear ones with no magnets in them. Sorry, one of my rods fell off or out of its holder. I do not recommend going with one of these or putting these in your cube, because what this does is make your cube non-magnetic, and that's not very... A non-magnetic cube nowadays, typically they're not great, and it really wouldn't work with this puzzle specifically just because of how fast this puzzle is. And here's a better look at the magnet capsules. Now, you're probably wondering how you replace the magnets. Now, some of you may have already seen how this works, and probably all of you have, but if you've never seen it, what you do is you offset the puzzle by about 45 degrees on an M slice, take your magnet capsule and just line it up with the other one, and push it through the cube. And there you go. Oh, I dropped it. And that is how you replace the magnet strength on your puzzle. Now, you'd have to do it for the whole cube, not just one, obviously, because this will make no difference from the rest, because it's only 2 magnets like that out of 24, I believe, something like that. And if you want to switch the magnet strength back to what it was, it's the same thing. You just line it up and push it through, just like that. And that's how the magnet system works. I will now show you how the new numerical IPG GS system works. So what you do is you take your center cap off, and like I said, there's no longer a screw in the puzzle. It's just this rod with a rectangular end. And how you take the GS nuts out is you would push the GS nut down and line the rectangle up with the 0 option. And I will give you a closer look at these again. As you can see now, if it'll focus, there's numbers. Well, this one's more like a circle with the line through it, not really a number. Then there's 0.6, 0.8, and 1.0. And what these numbers mean are basically how much travel the GS-nut has from the actual core of the puzzle. I believe it's centimeters or something, like 0.6 centimeters, 0.8 centimeters, and a full centimeter for the 1.0. And with the different distance between the core, that is basically how tight or loose the puzzle is. So the 0.6 option is the tightest option and the 0.1 is the loosest. And that is how the new numerical IPG system works. Now on to the actual review of the puzzle, and I know this is taking forever and I'm sorry, but I just wanted you guys to be informed on how all of the mechanisms, I guess you could say, of this puzzle actually work. Now, like I said earlier, I have been using this cube as my main ever since I got it, which, like I said, I believe was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Sorry about that. Sorry about that loud noise. The cube box hit my table. And here's why I've been using this cube as my main. 6 months ago, I think, I was using my GTS-2M as my main, and I was looking for a cube to replace it, but I couldn't find a cube that fit my turning style like it, or like as well as that cube did. And back in March of 2018, for my birthday cubes unboxing, I got this. This is the MF3RS-2M, and y'all are probably wondering what this and the GTS-2M have to do with this, but I'm getting there. I used this for a little bit, and then I realized my GTS-2M was better, and then I dropped my GTS-2M and broke it, unfortunately, and I never replaced it. Instead, I went to a Vulcan, and then I used this for a little bit, and I was getting fairly decent times on this, and then I got this. What the GTS-2M did for me that I was trying to replace with other cubes, which I couldn't quite get that same feeling and match with my turning style with any other cube until I got this. Now, out of the box, the cube was too loose for me and too fast. I couldn't use it. I mean, I could, but I couldn't get very good times on it. So what I did was I changed the GS nuts from green to yellow, which I highly recommend you do, and I put them on the tightest setting. So this right here is basically the tightest the GAN 356X can get with the numerical IPG. And I'm also using the strongest magnets because I like the feeling of stronger magnets more than the feeling of lighter magnets. And this cube fits my turning style perfectly. Now, y'all are probably wondering what my turning style is. Some of y'all might not care, but some of you might, in case you have a similar turning style. I tend to have, like, when I'm doing really fast, or when I'm speed cubing, I have a tendency to put a lot of force into my turns. So if I were to use a really light puzzle like a Yushin Little Magic M, I tend to overshoot and get lockups. Sometimes. It just depends. But like, my turning style is kind of weird, and I have a heavier turning style, like I said, so I can't really use lighter puzzles for two-handed solving like the Little Magic M. The MF3RS-2M helped with that a little bit after I broke my GTS-2M, but my GTS-2M was the first puzzle I found that actually really fit my turning style. And then, like I said, I got this, and this puzzle is amazing. And I will tell you why it's amazing now, even though it took almost 15 minutes to get to this point. here is why I believe this puzzle is amazing and why I'm using it as my main. It's, first of all, it's really quiet, as you can hear, maybe. That's the GAN X compared to the MF3S2M. The MF3S2M is a lot louder and clackier, and this has more of a smooth sound to it. Like, there's not much resistance, and it just, I don't know how to explain it, but it just sounds really quiet as opposed to the MF3S2M. And now the turning of this puzzle is buttery smooth, and it's probably the smoothest cube I've ever felt, which is saying something, because I know not many people got to try my GTS2M. I can think of 3 or 4 other speed cubers who've tried it. I know Nova Cuber has tried it at my first competition. I know he got to try it and he loved it. That cube was so smooth. This cube though is smoother than my GTS2M was, and I love the feeling of a smooth turning puzzle. That's one thing I look for when I get a cube. And the things I look for are, in a 3x3 at least, is that the cube is fast, smooth, and controllable. I know it's kind of hard to get fast and controllable, but with the magnets in this cube and the yellow GES nuts, this cube has a pretty nice speed, and I don't tend to overshoot on it whatsoever, which is amazing. And that's pretty much the biggest factor as to why this thing is my main, other than the fact that it fits my turning style really well. And just the overall performance of this puzzle is amazing. Like, corner cutting, even on the tightest settings this cube can get, it's still insane. Like, that's reverse corner cutting. It's past line to line. There's like one spot it won't cut, and that's it right there. If you were to go to a looser option, it would be able to cut it a lot easier, but with how I have it set up, it only cuts a little over 45 for normal and a little past line to line for reverse, which is probably the best corner cutting on a 3x3 I've ever seen. And that's another reason why this cube is my main, because if I'm off a little bit like this, like when I'm doing an R move, if I sometimes overshoot and it's followed by a U move, it just goes right back, and it just makes my solves a lot more fluid having the ability to cut that much, even though I normally don't. If I corner cut during a solve, it's typically around like this. It's not very much. So yeah, the large amount of corner cutting makes the smaller cuts a lot easier. And now I will show you guys the mechanism of this puzzle. It's actually really cool. The corner pieces have this honeycomb design, which I'll focus in on it now. What this does is, I think it makes the cube smoother, it's supposed to at least, and one thing I know for a fact that it does is it helps spread the lube in the cube out more evenly, so it's not like all on one side of the puzzle, it spreads it evenly throughout the puzzle. And this is also on the base of the corners as well as all over the piece. And now the edge, it's smooth on the sides, but on the front of it, I guess you'd call it, like on the front and the back of the edge piece, it still has the honeycomb design. And honestly, like the look of the tabs from the tiles, like if you were to take a piece out and look at it, I kind of see a little face in it, which might sound weird and not cubing related at all, which it's not, but I just like the look of it. And this is how the mechanism sits together, like an edge piece and a corner piece next to each other. the little ridge on the corner fits right into the slot on the edge, and the magnets obviously keep the pieces together. So yeah, that's been my review on the GAN 356X, and y'all are probably wondering if I think it's worth the money. And personally, I do think it is worth the amount of money. And I know it's really expensive, but I do believe that it is worth it. And I believe that if you can, you should pick one up. And yeah, and the last thing before I end the video, if you want to know how I've set this up, I actually pre-ordered it from Speedcube Shop. So mine came with a 10cc bottle of Martian. So what I did was I did about 50 break-in solves on it out of the box, and then I put 4 drops of Martian in it because that's how much it says to do on the bottle. If you do get Martian with your GAN X, start with 2 drops and see what you think about it from there. And then about every 150 solves or so, I've put 1 or 2 more drops in it. So yeah, that's how I've set my cube up. And as you saw, I have the yellow GS nuts in it on the 0.6 setting, and also the clear magnets. So yeah, that's been my review on the GAN 356X. Sorry about the video being 22-ish minutes long. I just wanted to give my personal opinion on the cube and go through everything in case you haven't seen an unboxing. Even though I didn't really do an unboxing, I just went through everything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you guys in the next video, which should be a scooter check, if I can record a good one and not one that is not great. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and comment down below if you've tried a GAN 356X and what you think of it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.